sir. Turn on the recording.
Yep, we're recording now.
Okay, we're live recording. It's let it show that it's 7 o'clock, and we're opening up the Point Roberts Community Advisory Committee regular meeting, August 24th, 7 p.m. There's no one in the room. We do have two guests online. Welcome, and thank you for showing up. So I'd like to start. There's 4 members of the board. I'd like to start with the approval of the minutes.
Approval of the agenda first.
Oh, excuse me, the agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, we
Yeah.
approve the agenda. Thank you. Did you get who the first and second on that?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. Then we have approval for the minutes from the previous meeting. So I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I will make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I will second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Thank you.
And thank you,
Aye.
Ryan, since I missed the last one. It was very useful. Thank you.
Okay. Well, good. Do we have any correspondence?
The only correspondence that we have has to do with the stormwater, which actually isn't on our agenda tonight. So Brian and I received an email from the county planning the first meeting for the contractor that was hired that's going to come and do the first initial meet and greet here in Point Roberts with Brian, myself,
Okay.
and the members of Public Works Engineering.
Okay.
So that we can go over that, and then we'll have an update from that.
Excellent.
So we will have boots on the ground very shortly, September.
Good. Well, we've got quite a few things going on. Don't we have the septic going on and
septic class? I just actually verified that would be the only other correspondence. Our September 19th class is full.
It's full. I was going to say, is the response well?
Yeah, it is full.
Okay, good. Well, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
I have a brief correspondence from Whatcom PUD. I can cover that when we get to that part of the agenda.
Well, why don't we do the correspondence right now? Go ahead. You have the floor, sir.
Okay. So I just pinged for status from Chris Heimgartner on the broadband, and just reading that here. Hi, Prakash. The next step is for Washington State Broadband Office, WSBO, to send us a contract to negotiate and get our commission to approve. We will keep you informed as we move forward.
Good.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to ask for the first public comment, and I see we have someone else online. We got Jane, we've got Aaron. Aaron's still there?
Hold on.
Okay, Jane, Aaron, and then we also have we had
No, that's it.
Anel join us?
Anel's under circular care.
Okay, good. All right, so we have 2 folks. Any public comment from Jane or from Aaron? Any wish to say anything? Nothing?
Hello, it's Dave, not Jane.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, Jane's here.
No comment.
No comment this stage. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's get to the old business, the WTA authority update.
That would be Prakash.
And Mr. Prakash, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I actually, since I missed the last meeting and I was not part of the discussions after that, I did get a note from Anel saying that Les has been out, so she doesn't have an update for this meeting, that it would be better to discuss this in the next meeting in October. So sorry about lack of progress there, but that's where we are, summertime. Sorry, not October, September.
Shall I just
September meeting, right?
Yeah, September meeting is Les was sent the results of the survey so that he could take a look at them. I haven't heard from him since he has received those, so don't know what's going on there, but Circle of Care Board of Trustees meeting is on Monday night, And we're actually anticipating that he and Miranda will participate at that meeting. So we will have a report next week, but that at the next meeting. But that's all we have right now. And I'll just go ahead and apologize. My 6-year-old grandson is with me, and we're having a wonderful time, and it's a little difficult to manage things. So I will be in and out and off and on.
It is what it is. Oh, Bob Hillman joined us.
Yeah, thank you. Now.
Good. All right. All right. So thank you, Prakash. Thanks for the update. How about an update on the Whitby Telecom update, if you will, Whitby Telecom?
Woodby Telecom.
Yes.
I haven't received anything since our last meeting from Woodby Tel. I did have a phone call, one phone call. I'm supposed to be meeting with a member of Woodby Tel to discuss the issues surrounding archaeological.
Yes.
In Point Roberts, but he has not called me back to schedule that meeting for their engineer to drive around with me so that I can explain to him where the issues are in Maple Beach and in the oceanfront areas of Point Roberts.
All right.
So I assume the topic under which sort of all broadband discussions fall. Is that right?
Yeah. So anything under
any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I already read out the response from Whatcom PUD on the WSBO grant that we heard about a couple of months ago, which is that they're waiting for confirmation and then we'll contract out. So I don't have any further update on that. I did receive a note from Bob. So since he's online, Bob, do you want to speak to that note? If you have other updates. Bob there?
Yeah, Bob's there. He's muted. Bob, unmute yourself.
No, he's not muted.
Oh, isn't he?
No.
Maybe.
Sorry, there we go.
All right.
I don't know what to say at this point. We've got this grant for $3.5 million, which includes the matching funds. And that's fine. It provides better connectivity to 1,200 homes, which is about half of the community. And part of me says that we should celebrate that. The other part of me says that it really doesn't do much for us in the short term because the benefits of that grant aren't going to show up until late 2024 or early 25.
Yeah.
Now, it's always a situation of, I'm okay. I have my broadband, but there's plenty of people in this community who suffer from broadband that isn't good enough to support a Zoom call. And that's a pretty difficult situation if you're trying to work remotely or trying to do distance learning or trying to have a call with your medical provider and talk to your doctor remotely and kind of share some results or whatever. So mixed results mixed emotions and mixed thoughts about that broadband, if that really is a good thing for the community. It doesn't answer our immediate needs. And there are other solutions. So, without violating any non-disclosure that I might have, or without, talking out of class or out of school, I won't say anything about what discussions may be going on with the county or the PUD, but I'm more a time of the essence kind of guy. And I would like to see better broadband across Point Roberts now, today, or in a few weeks, not 2 years from now. we learned what it's like to wait through a pandemic, and I don't want another broadband pandemic that we have to wait through. I don't think that's good for anybody. Not good for people that are trying to manage at-home businesses or just get decent enough connectivity to have a Zoom call. Fact is that the technology is moving faster than our connectivity here in the point. And how long is it going to take us to fall even further behind? Anyway, that's really all I got to say about that at this point, but I'm obviously out there trying to improve the situation. And, full disclosure, trying to make PointNet a part of that. But, we're fully engaged and we're out there with and ready, willing, and able to provide an immediate solution. So that's really all I have to say.
So thanks, Bob, for the update. So from what I understand of what you just said, there isn't an immediate action item for this body right now. Is that correct? But if there was a discussion that PUD is having and would like this body to weigh in, I think that's something that we can consider at the next meeting or whenever is appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prakash, I'd love to have a discussion just off camera about what we think is possible and what might be a better direction. I mean, I'm all in favor of everybody in Point Roberts having fiber to the home, but I'm not sure, first of all, how many of the 2,300 residences here will take fiber to the home, because this high percentage of those are owned by Canadian cottage owners. So, it's a grand assumption to assume that all of those will want to have fiber to the home. I'm not sure that fiber to the home is in the same class as having running water or potable water at your home. I think we could count on the Canadian cottage owners for signing up to that, but I'm not sure they would sign up to broadband fiber. At least a high percentage of them may not want to sign up for, fiber to the home. I just think that's a reality of this market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, if we, Allison, I'll look for guidance from you, but if we need to do some legwork to develop alternative proposals, I can certainly volunteer to do that and then bring that back to this body at the next meeting.
Okay, I think the email I sent you, Prakash.
No, that's it.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, Allison.
But Prakash, you're talking about talking to Bob and just setting up a meeting and coming up with some alternatives on where you think we should go. Is that right? Right,
yeah,
Bob?
and discussing potentially with PUD, but first, before we say anything officially from this body, obviously I would bring it back here and have that discussion and vote.
That's great. That's great. That's great.
And definitely, Prakash, I think it's very important, and this is why I was going to have the meeting with Woodby Telecom, and it's obviously a discussion that we need to have with PUD, is in-ground fiber for a very large area of Point Roberts, anywhere within 100 feet of the water, and then all of Maple Beach can't happen. So we need to have an aerial possibility, whether it be via cable lines, something.
Right, I believe that was all for the WSBO grant, and Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, that was already, the intent was to run fiber, but not in ground. But what I understand Bob is saying is that even that might be A, take a long time to happen, and B, he's not sure about how many of the homeowners would subscribe to that. And he's suggesting looking into alternatives that might be faster. They may not be fiber, but they might be faster than what we have and quicker to roll out. So if that's an alternative, that maybe that's the, we can have that discussion or a vote if that's needed. Is that an alternative we would like to explore? And if so, I can certainly volunteer to go do that and bring that back by the next meeting.
Yeah, let's, Prakash, I'd be pleased to just kind of outline what the differences are here. And the grants, just to be clear, I believe are for underground. Whitby's made it clear they have no interest in overhead. So, you know, if underground's the only way they can do it, and we have issues with middens or multiple middens, seems like that's a problem, and not a problem that's easily overcome. You know, those overhead facilities have been there for, I don't know how many years, probably as long as the power poles that they ride on. There's a way to fix that, and you know, in good faith, we offered to provide a bypass, an overhead bypass for Whitby Telecom if they wanted it. We have not heard back from that offer, so we assume that they have no interest. So that's just an update, but you know, there are ways to fix this, and there's a way to fix it completely. And I'll look forward to kind of talking with you, and then we can put together something to present to PRAC.
That sounds good with me. That's okay with the committee members.
A quick question, just for clarification, Bob. So you're saying that basically the 3.5 million is running interference with your proposal, and you're not able or willing to move forward?
No. Just to be clear, we're partnered with the county. So, you know, if they proceed with the construction of that, we are the partnering ISP, and we will provide the service on that. I know it seems a little strange, but you know, these are public funds used to build the fiber, and so those will be accessible to any ISP, new or old or from some other part of Washington State or Whatcom County who wants to come here and offer service. They can do that, and but we're the kind of partner of record that was on the grant application. I'm for it generally. Fiber is the gold standard, but the issue is this the fastest way to get improved broadband in a community where, you know, it's been discovered that we really have substandard internet connectivity across the whole community.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a serious problem for most people, and you know, it doesn't allow remote learning. It doesn't permit, you know, telemedicine. I mean, we've got people living here in Point Roberts whose medical devices implanted in their bodies can't be remotely connected to the county health facilities in Bellingham.
Yes.
I mean, it's disgusting.
Well, and it just occurs, it seems to me that between the fact that it has our economy basically hogtied, if there was a company that wanted to come in, and a cottage industry that wanted to come in that would hire a couple dozen people, and they'd all need to be working from home, it really hinders us. And so I wonder, Allison and Bill, where, if any place, the Main Street project or even above that, is there an agency with the state that could help us with this?
I don't know that, sorry to interject there, but I don't know that another agency, NL, like we already have Whatcom PUD, which is the appropriate agency designated by the executive, involved, and to their credit, they've managed to secure this WSBO grant. I think what we are talking about now is like, what is the best use of those grant funds?
And how quickly?
How quickly, and feasibly, given the challenges that we have with underground, laying of any kind of fiber. So if that was the original intent, then we might need a plan B, and there are different choices for that plan B. So I guess what I'm volunteering for is to go flesh out those choices. And if we need to have that discussion again, then we can bring it back.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right.
That's good.
Terrific.
Say, Prakash, I got a question, or for whomever. Is the problem with the underground related to the archaeological perspective, or are there other prohibitions that on Point Roberts that would inhibit the installation or not be a friendly environment for underground installation?
It's just the archaeological.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that I'm aware of, and that's what has stalled Whidbey Tell's existing project. So before we start another one, we want to be sure that that's a viable approach.
That's one of these things where if you have this archaeological, you could beat this to death for years.
Well, and that's why it's like there's no point in them trying to create a plan
Absolutely
that they're going to run fiber underground to Maple Beach and then go, oops, we're not allowed to stick a shovel in the ground in Maple Beach.
That's the point. It's like,
right, and that's like 400 homes down there,
and
right, that they would be running possibly.
But wherever you go with that particular issue, you're going to run into a brick wall.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a fast response.
Well, like, there's other areas of Point Roberts that are archaeological that they would be able to, like here along Marine Drive.
Right.
They will be able to bury that, but they're going to have to pay an archaeologist to be on site while they dig and monitor every scoop of dirt they do it.
That's why I'm saying it becomes like carrying the coals to Newcastle. Yeah, you can have your underground, but it'll be in 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Well, but not only that, I look at it in certain instances, the cost analysis to put it underground
is going to cost you probably 70 or 80% of whatever grant you're going to have.
It exacerbates, an already.
But it's going to eat up the funds.
Right.
Yeah. It's like the old story. Whenever you have funds dedicated to something, it ends up with the consultants going, geez, I don't know if we should do this. And very little ends up actually turning dirt over and getting fiber in the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we table this for this meeting, and then if that's okay with the committee, I can go do some investigation partnership with Bob and others in PUD, and then bring back more information next time.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll talk about additional at-large membership.
I don't have an update on that.
Anything on that? How about the dog park? Anel, do you have anything on that, or anybody have anything on the dog park?
We might have to come back to Anel.
Okay, we'll come back. Environmental constraints on public information workshop.
So that's me. I'm waiting to hear back from Jed Holmes. I haven't heard back from Jed. He was supposed to be contacting the gentleman I work with at the State Department of Archaeology to create a date that works well with PDS staff. I'm going to try Jed one more time.
Give him a shout.
If that doesn't work, then I'm just going to make the arrangements with the state, what works best for the state, because they are coming up from Olympia.
Right.
And they want to do it on a Saturday. So I'm kind of the mindset of whatever works best for them, whatever Saturday works best for them is what we'll book. And then whatever PDS staff is able to make it to assist in that is what we'll do.
Okay. All right. Any questions, any issues, anything about that? Any questions? Okay. All right. Transportation Benefit District.
I was directed at the last meeting when Allison stepped out because you guys jumped on it right away.
I know, but that's okay.
No, I thought it was good thinking on your part.
Yeah.
To compose a letter to our state senator, Sharon Shimei. I have not completed that. I need to talk to Allison and make sure everything's in it that we want, so that we're not going to waste time going back
and forth. And she asked,
Yeah, so,
she also didn't answer this question.
And you might want to make a stop by the reef with me on Tuesday, because Sharon is supposed to be
there
coming on Tuesday.
On Tuesday
night.
See, look at that. So
I will find out for sure if she is 100% still coming up.
Okay.
And let you know, and then we can
kill a couple of boats. See?
Sounds perfect.
See?
You're great. You're a great chair.
No, I'm not. I'm just here for the beer and peanuts. What, are you kidding me? Okay, so, we got new business. We got some new business going on.
Does anybody have anything new that we want to go through?
Okay, well, hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth showed up. Hello, Elizabeth. There it is. Okay, good. And second public comment, Elizabeth, whoever. Let me see how many participants we have.
We have more. Elizabeth
and Aaron.
Aaron.
And
that's it.
Elizabeth, Aaron, any public comment?
Questions?
Not so far. I just got back from Europe.
All right, there you go. Okay.
You'll have something for us next month.
Next month. So I have some new business.
Okay.
Okay. So I get a call from Anel. And I got a call from somebody else too. They'll remain anonymous, but And Anel said, geez, have you been down to Goodman? So I drove down to Goodman. Now, right next, and Goodman, I got it, okay. Boundary Bay into Goodman. Then the little snaky road, there's the windmill house.
Mm-hmm.
Just up from the windmill house, it appears, I never knew there was a house there.
Yeah.
It's a little house, got a little glass in the front and stuff like that. It looks like they're going to do something with it. Doesn't look like it's currently occupied. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Couldn't tell, didn't go knock on the door. But somebody made a mess into the gutter, into the ditch, but made a mess that it's on an angle that if it's going to rain on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if it's really hard, I'm not going to say that it's going to block everything up, but they left something that appears to me as dangerous because they pushed some stumps and some cut lumber, and it's right on the edge. And anything give way from the movement of water underneath, something's going to end up on the road or something's going to happen. And if you have any question, go down and look at Goodman, stop, and look up and go, yeah, I got it. Because it was just basically taken from off the front lawn and pushed right up over the edge into the ditch. But there's stuff hanging up there. And it's been there now for over a week. And the neighbor is, Anel coached the neighbor appropriately to contact the appropriate people. And they've done that, but it seems to be that there's not a response on it, like, go clean that up.
Well, it wouldn't be until Public Works actually sends someone here to do something that they would go by and check and look at it. It goes on their list. So basically, my understanding from Public Works is when somebody calls in a clogged ditch or anything like that, Public Works related, a down stop sign, anything like that, unless it's considered an emergency, it kind of goes on the list for next time somebody goes up. But like if there's a stop sign down and the sheriff calls them and says, hey, we got a stop sign down, well, they're supposed to send somebody the next day. Well, they're supposed to grab the list. And while you're here, take care of XYZ.
Yeah,
right.
It's one of those things that you don't have to look very far. You pull the car up, look and go, well, that shouldn't be.
Well, so Public Works isn't going to care about anything that's uphill. They're going to care about what's in the ditch.
Yeah, but it's one of these things. It's one of these things. Follow me.
I know. I understand what you're saying.
It's one continue. It's you know what I'm saying?
That falls under PDS as a landslide hazard.
Right, well, that's my point.
So it's two different agencies.
But that's my, yeah, but see,
Yeah,
that's my
yeah,
point is that if you follow it from the top of the hill down, maybe about 100 feet, and you look and you go, okay, it all is one big, it like you put your blade down and just push it over the side of the hill.
Well, I think one thing that maybe, like I said, I'm not here in October.
Yeah.
I will be here for September. Maybe on that agenda, we can put homeowner responsibilities for ditch maintenance, something like that to that effect on the agenda. And I will pull up all of the rules and stuff just so that everybody understands. So it's something that we can discuss about how the culvert underneath your driveway is your responsibility to clean. You're not allowed to put any yard debris or anything inside of the ditch, all of those do's and don'ts.
But the thing is, and I got that, but my thing is always, you go back to who created the mess.
Yeah, so it's up to the homeowner to, if they created the mess, clean it up, or if they hired someone.
They hired somebody create the mess.
Then that contractor would need to come back and clean up the mess.
So it brings up once again the question about contractor liability, contractor doing a job, doing something that they've got to know is illegal. And if they don't know that it's illegal, then they certainly should know that it's illegal. And that contractor having repercussions as a result of the work that they've done. There doesn't seem to be any, again, it's all about enforcement, but also about expecting and requiring a contractor to do the right thing relative to rules and regulations. It wouldn't be an issue had the contractor not pushed a whole bunch of debris over the side of the property's owner's boundary down into to a ditch that was already very problematic. So this actually is the ditch that we got a call about a year and a half ago that sort of started this whole Goodman and was what got Goodman on your list of going out and examining different properties as far as stormwater management. It's like Bill said, when the rains start, it's going to be a problem, and the county hasn't done anything about correcting the road, the ditch that undermines the road. One big another atmospheric river, and that road's going to be gone, and that's a tsunami route. So it has this knock-on effect where the contractor comes in and, oh well, I'll just push that shit over into the ditch, and if it were a couple of months later, it could have some really dire consequences for the entire community.
So I just want to go on the record.
Well, it's one of those things that it's, also homeowners need to ensure that any contractor that they hire are licensed, bonded, and insured, that they inspect the work that their contractor does, after the fact, make sure that everything is cleaned up, that they don't do things like that. If they do something like this, ensure that they clean it up. If they don't clean it up, well, then the homeowner has the ability to go after their bond or their insurance, and file a complaint with Labor and Industries and hire somebody else to clean it up and recoup their money from that contractor through their bond, their insurance, and also them getting a mark on their L&I. If for some reason the county decides they want to go after a homeowner for doing something like that, then again, the county then takes note of, well, it was this contractor.
Right. Thanks for that explanation, Allison. I had a very congenial conversation face to face with the homeowner. He assured me that he would call the contractor back. I checked again with him on Tuesday via text, and he assured me that he was going to be in town today and tomorrow, and he was calling the contractor back. So I think we need to just do a site visit tomorrow and or over the weekend to ensure that the mess that was created, and it was a mess, and it'll be a whole lot harder to correct it than it would have been to do it right in the first place.
Yeah. That's my point is the only thing it can do if it rains hard is get worse. So
yeah,
that's all.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So I'm on the record.
I have another item, real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody saw the news, the unfortunate news on Maui regarding the wildfires.
Yes.
Just wanted to check, like, since wildfires in our region are also becoming more common, like, do we have a wildfire response plan or evacuation plan? Or does PrEP have one, or the fire chief? Because I'm not aware of one, and I've been here only the last couple of years, but maybe that's something that we need to, if there is one, we need to, share more broadly with the community. And if there isn't one, maybe we need to put that on the agenda.
Put that on the list.
Yeah, there was a discussion at one of the PrEP meetings I was at a few months ago about that. And they said that the one issue in Point Roberts, and Chief said as well, so when you make a tsunami plan, well, that's pretty easy. You know where the three sides of water are. You know where the water comes from. When you're talking about a wildfire plan, you don't know where that wildfire is going to start when you have forested areas everywhere. Other than to say everybody knows to go to, either the fire hall, the community center, like there's places, those are the two places to go in case of an emergency. And that's all they have at this moment for wildfire, but they were going to discuss it further, and we can reach out to PrEP and have that as part of our next agenda. But it was discussed, and it did make sense to me when they said that. It's like, well, we have woods in the middle of Point Roberts. We have, with a tsunami, you just say get to the highest point in Point Roberts. Fire, there's woods everywhere. There's woods on the edge of the ocean. There's woods in the middle. Right? It's kind of makes it more difficult for them for evacuation routes.
You get a good fire going on Point Roberts, it'll sweep through just like it did the other place.
Yeah.
Especially if it starts in a certain location where there's a lot of combustible material, like a Maple Beach. I mean, you have a string of houses, got that. You have elephant grass, you got some elephant grass, most of it, you got bushes. You don't have quite the high grass like they have in Lahaina, but you still get a combustible source down at, and you've got the fuel down in a Maple Beach area. You get that fire roaring, and it's not going to stop.
And there's no point in running to Tawasin because it will jump the border.
It'll jump the
border.
I've
always said if there's a big fire in Point Roberts, I know people with boats. I'm heading to the marina and I'm jumping on the first person's boat I can get on.
Yeah.
I think even to have recommendations like that, like
what is exactly right.
I think would be useful. I see Elizabeth has her hand up as well.
Because we have gosh, you're right. We have the potential. If the fire starts in a certain place, it will sweep this island. It will get out of hand before it can be gotten underhand. So, yep.
What did you want to say something, Elizabeth?
Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Last summer, the fire chief talked about fires on the point, and in preparation for that, I believe he worked with the county. Anyway, people came up to the point, and it was voluntary. And so I had them come to my property, and they assess your property for fire. And they tell you what you can do, like removing shrubs around your home, putting stones or sand. And a lot of places have the fir trees, which are very combustible. Anyway, so they came and assessed the whole property, and then they sent me a 5-page email telling me what my risk would be if there was a fire. I don't know if anybody else here had that done. I found it really useful, and I've taken some of the recommendations of it and I've implemented them. But that was in the case of a fire, to save your home. And I thought that was excellent. Maybe the fire chief will do that again. I don't know how many people signed up for it, but it was very thorough, and they came and took pictures and looked at all the vegetation. Did anybody else have that done beside me?
No, I don't have any trees on my property, but my neighbors who have acreage.
Oh, my neighborhood. You know my neighborhood up on Washington. Nothing would burn down in a heartbeat. It just would be gone.
Bob, did you have it done too?
No, I didn't, but I have experience in working with the U.S. Forest Service and BC Forest Service. And I can tell you one thing in Point Roberts, the issue is the evergreen canopy. If that catches fire, it becomes you're not going to save any property. Forget property. It will all be just like in Lahaina, lessons from Lahaina. Get the emergency message out and get the people out of there, because I don't care if you've got water bombers poised to come in, you're not going to stop the evergreen canopy from going up in flames.
That's what I'm saying. It gets up there in that canopy and it's gone. And the only thing you do is just get out of town. You get to get the hell out of town.
Absolutely correct.
Then could we put it on the notes to talk to the fire chief and going forward have an emergency fire evacuation for all of the points, so people know where they should go, what they should do, etc.
Yeah, it's in the agenda, and we'll talk to Prep and Chief.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
That's good. Thanks, Elizabeth.
I want to raise another point. I'm up here at the intersection of Boundary Bay and APA, and we have virtually no water pressure up here. It ranges between 25 and 30 pounds. 20 is the absolute state minimum. But I don't have enough pressure to run a dishwasher or to run a sprinkler without having a pump, an electric pump on the water that comes into the house. So I also think that it would be wise to ask the water department about the likelihood of installing a proper pump on the water system rather than having it be gravity fed.
Yeah, because you should actually have, for firefighting, I think it's 50 pounds.
50 pounds.
Yeah. It's 50 PSI.
Yeah, if you're having 25 pounds,
Yeah. So yeah, maybe discussion with water board on PSI rating for water throughout the point.
But I think you watch the fire, and then you realize and understand what Bob says when it's in that canopy. And once it gets up in there, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, because I know on one property I'm doing a permit for, first time ever, I was actually asked to not just mark where the closest fire hydrant was. I actually have to get a letter from the water board stating that fire hydrant is at 50 PSI. And when I called the water board, I'm like, this is a new one on me. And they're like, this is a new one on us too.
Yeah.
So
it may be him, and then also his insurance company's asking.
No. This is from PDS, from Whatcom County.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to file for a permit.
Whoa.
So infrastructure for our water might need an uptake.
Oh, you don't have PSI? Okay, well, you can't build a house. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Any other public comment? None? All right.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bill, for chairing.
No, thanks, Prakash. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Good
And Ellen.
night.
Thank you.